Okay, we are going to call together this regular meeting of the Miami Special Utility Authority for Tuesday, May 6th at 5:30 p.m. Invocation by Mother Allie Perry of All Saints Episcopal Church. Is she here tonight? Okay, in lieu of that, Neil, can I call on you to say the
Sure.
blessing?
Father, thank you so much for the blessing you give us each and every day. Thank you for our city. Thank you for our state and our country. Father, we just ask that you give us direction tonight that we may better serve you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4 is public input and unscheduled personal appearances. If there's anyone in the audience that's not listed on a later agenda item that wants to speak to the authority about any of the agenda items, please come forward. Sir, I'm sorry, say again?
Nothing on the agenda, just, I want to ask some questions.
Okay. Then I'll be glad to talk with you afterwards. Okay? Item number 5 is the consent agenda. Staff is recommending items 6 and 7, I guess. Is that correct, or is
5
it?
to 11.
Oh, well,
No, it's 6 and 7.
supposed to be keeping me straight, Doug.
That's what we had on ours.
Oh, you can update yours.
So staff is recommending items 6 and 7,
I'd make a motion to put them in the consent agenda, Mayor.
and those are just the minutes from April 15 and the claims.
Right.
Do we have a second, please?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Johnson?
Aye.
McLean? Aye. Sharbit?
Aye.
Weston?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
Do you need a hard copy?
Yeah, Pastor Shars is on the updated one I'm looking at. It's not on this one here.
Is he, is that on the?
That's the council.
Amber, do you have
Council meeting.
a hard copy there?
Are we MSUA or council?
Okay. So you made the mistake I make half the time.
Which one today?
He's just in the wrong meeting, on the wrong agenda.
Thank you.
Item number 8, request for special dispensation beyond approved policies on utility bill by citizen Robert Armstrong at 829 Brookside. Mr. Armstrong, are you here? Mr. Post, are you representing Mr. Armstrong?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay.
Mayor and Council, thank you very much for allowing us to come and visit with you. My son Dean and I, through United Country, have represented Mr. Robert Armstrong for the last 3 or 4 years. He passed away a year ago, and since then we are representing his wife, Virginia, in the liquidation of their estate and all their real estate. There's one piece of property left in the city of Miami that is still in her name, and that is a property that we have a question about. There was a utility bill turned in, and I'm going to kind of talk in generalities, but about $600 in utility bills, half of it being water, half of it being sewer. I've got a packet here if you'd like to see the pictures. We were supposed to be here last week and we didn't, or 2 weeks ago, we didn't make it. But I believe the issue between the city and Miss Armstrong and our company is that there was a water leak. Several thousand gallons was dispersed. The city came in December and put a new utility pole next to the water meter. In fact, if you go out today, like I did, and measure 8 inches away from the utility pole is a water meter. The water meter itself was smashed, was destroyed, and left that away. We believe that the installation of that utility pole is what caused the water leak. The water leak was at the meter base. Mr. Armstrong came to us and with the bill and asked us to look into it. Dean, my son, called Joe and visited with him about it. I talked to the utility manager about it. Then we was told that we need to go through the process.
Okay.
So Dean and I called Mr. Bishop, your city manager, met with him, showed him all the information here. He I believe, agreed with us that there is some disagreement on what could have happened. We believe that it is just an error that was made, and we're asking that the utility bill be corrected for Ms. Armstrong and be reduced to her normal rates.
And do you know, Harold, approximately what the normal rate is? I mean, you have
Yes, sir.
some history.
Yes, sir. Let me go ahead and give you, so you can see how the meter itself was squashed, destroyed. And if you look on the back pages, you'll see her utility bills. Water ran. She hadn't lived in this house, Mayor, for about 4 months. She has lived with her sister since she lost her husband, so the house has been vacant. So it's had the minimal $12.57 water, $17.70 sewer on that bill. They've all run very, very low. And we're not asking for a total wipeout. We're not asking the city to pay the plumbing bill where we had it fixed. We're simply asking you to reduce her rate as recommended by the utility department.
Would you please come up?
As per what we've done previously, we are looking to request an additional 50% reduction on what is left after the adjustment per the policy that is in place. So we are looking to request it reduced another $143.11.
And what would that leave the bill to be? The same amount? It's a 50% reduction?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So 143. And Harold, I'm not real quick on my math, but I think you said her bills had been running around $31 total for water and sewer. Is that correct?
Well, the one I read was $12.50 for electricity and $17.70 for water.
Okay.
Right now, she owes, with the adjustment, help me here, Amber. Amber sent me a list today.
The total balance right now is $176.83.
So she's still going to be left about a $50 bill, give or take a little bit.
And so again, you're not disputing the in round numbers $31.
No, sir, I'm not. No, sir.
And if we made the what I'm going to call the normal adjustment, just based on the policy we've been following, it would leave a bill of about $140, correct? So there'd be about a $110 difference from what we typically do. Is that a fair way to characterize it?
One more time, I'm sorry.
I don't know where the $170 came from. You said if there was a 50% reduction, it would be $140 or
Well,
so.
the 176 is the actual full bill, including what's left of the electric services as well, and the monthly
Okay.
minimums. Total, what was left on the account, now they have made payments as well, of the remainder, water and electric was $286.21. So we're requesting for $143.11 to be adjusted off of the account.
Off of the
We have-
170 that remains.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what's
Okay.
remaining.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
At this
okay.
time, yes.
Okay, I thank you.
Which we're not gonna lie. Okay.
Any questions?
I have no, Mayor. I make a motion to approve the adjustment.
And second? Roll call?
Johnson,
Aye.
Weston.
Aye.
McLean. Aye. Sharbit.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye. Harold, thank you for coming on her behalf and
Thank you.
representing her.
Mate, I need clarification. What is left to be paid on the bill now will be,
Calculator. 70.
Well, what we are adjusting is 143.11.
leaving,
176 minus the 143.
Yeah,
okay,
$33, something like that.
okay.
Change,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
staff would request to leave the record open until we can verify those numbers and insert them into the
Okay.
minutes when they're officially determined.
Okay. Okay. Item number 9, request for special dispensation by citizen Wona Leonard at 2228 C Street Northeast. Is Ms. Leonard here tonight? Okay. Harold, are you going to speak on Ms. Leonard's behalf?
Yeah, he's ours.
Guess not.
I was just, Item number 10, ratify trust manager's decision to provide special dispensation beyond approved policies on the bill for Carmen Moss at 111D Northeast. Mr. Bishop?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is kind of a unique situation. It's not been, does not fit within the normal profile of these situations that we were bringing to you. Mrs. Moss was a roommate with another individual at 111D Northeast, and the account was in the name of the other roommate. Ms. Moss was listed as a roommate, and the city attorney has pretty much opined that that's tantamount to a cosigner. I don't have a date certain, but on a Friday during one of the cold snaps, Mrs. Moss' roommate called and canceled service. And service was discontinued at 4:30 p.m. on that Friday. Mrs. Moss was not able to make contact with the office to inform them that she still lived there and did not need the services turned off, and was unable to do it until Monday, at which time she was informed that due to policy she was required to open up the account in her name and post a new deposit, because the old deposit had been applied to the balance. The balance at that time was around $400. The deposit, 400 and something, the deposit was applied and brought the bill down to 300 and something. When Mrs. Moss got new roommates, the new bill came out and it still had the balance forward of 300. Ms. Moss raised an issue of equity. How could she be liable for the bill when she didn't have standing to determine whether or not the services were shut off? I happen to have an issue with that myself from a policy standpoint. I mean, if we're going to hold an individual accountable for the bill, then they should have standing to determine whether or not they want service to continue. We did not continue service on that day. As a result, I negotiated with Mrs. Moss, and she agreed that she would pay half of the outstanding bill, since she didn't feel that her other roommates, her new roommates, were responsible for the bill. And we set up a payment plan for her for 12 months to pay that out. We as a staff will continue to pursue the other roommate for the outstanding balance from a collection standpoint. So staff is requesting that you ratify my decision to adjudicate the bill as a matter of customer service of halving the bill.
Any questions for Mr. Bishop?
David?
I certainly have no legal objection to any adjustment you may choose to make. The distinction that I had made in my discussions with Mr. Bishop is that, in my opinion, the account applicant is akin to, say, a person who holds title to a car. You know, they make all the decisions about that car. And for those of you who have ever been a cosigner, you know that a cosigner is responsible for the debt, but has no authority over the car and has no authority over the utility account itself, because they're not the applicant, in this analogy with a car title holder. Nonetheless, that may be a discussion to be had in future meetings as to policies you may wish to review with regard to the distinction between an account applicant versus someone who appears to be a cosigner, and what extent you want the utility service to pursue cosigners such as roommates who may or may not understand their rights or their lack of rights when they sign such a document. But in the interim...
Right. In this particular situation, Ms. Moss was the primary signatory on the lease for the premises. And the policy that we will bring back to you at your next meeting will be basically to have tenants in common, if you will, in the utility account, so that both parties have standing, so that one, in the event that there may be discord between roommates, one can't shut the power off at Friday evening just before close of business to force the other roommate to pay a $70 reconnect over the weekend. So again, that is why I made the decision, and if council's not happy with my decision, I'm happy to pay the other half of the bill.
I'm not having a problem with your decision. I do think it requires some additional thought, the tenants in common aspect of it, because I can also see some negatives to that. But I'm sure you guys will flesh it out before you bring it back to us. Anybody else have any concerns? Or Then we have a motion, please.
Motion approved.
And a second.
Second?
Roll call.
Sharbit?
Aye.
Weston?
Aye.
McLean? Aye. Johnson?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye. Will you pay my bill if I don't pay?
I really don't want to start that precedent.
Well, you just started it, kind of, almost. Item number 11, other new business, if any. Any new business? Item number 12, staff reports. Written reports are included in the packet if available, and staff is present for questions if there are any questions.
I just have one question for Tyler or Joe. The update on our trash trucks.
We're thinking July 1st.
July 1st.
They had a backup on making the chassis part. So, but one of them was already at the actual bed manufacturer, and the other one's on its way this week or next. So.
Okay. That's all I have.
So Tyler's answer was soon, we hope. Somewhere around July 1.
Okay.
Item 13, trustee community announcements. Any announcements, anyone? Item number 14, future agenda planning. Any item under that? Item number 15, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
And a second, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Johnson?
Aye.
McLean? Aye. Weston?
Aye.
Sharbit?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye. We will move right into our city council meeting. We will call the meeting to order. It's 5:46. Agenda item number 2, public input and unscheduled personal appearances. Again, if there's anyone in the audience that wants to speak to this body about any of the agenda items. There being none, item number 3, recognition of 10-year service award for Alicia Hogan. Wow.
Yay.
Mr. Bishop? Alicia's been looking forward to this for a week.
Supposed to have money.
Uh-oh.
We'll do a picture. How about a picture?
All right, we'll do a picture. It's my pleasure to recognize Alicia Hogan for, and by the way, it took me a little time to learn it's Alicia and not Alicia. But it's been my special pleasure to work with her, I guess, now for, 18 months? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alicia has held several positions with us at the city. She gave me a bio to read, but she's also expressed that she's quite shy, so I'm not going to go through the whole lengthy thing. But one of the things that I thought was very unique about the bio that she gave me was that she places God first in her life, and I'm free to say that tonight, thanks to the Supreme Court. So I'd like to thank the Supreme Court for being able to say that, and I'd like to thank Alicia for all of her service with the city of Miami.
Thank you, Alicia. Item number...
I was 21 before I found that out, so it's okay.
Item number 4 is the consent agenda. The staff is recommending items 5 through 11 be placed on the consent agenda.
Make a motion to put items 5 through 11 in the consent agenda approved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Johnson?
Aye.
Weston?
Aye.
Sharbit?
Aye.
McLean? Aye. Schultz?
Aye. Item 12, approve resolution to waive all or partial in the amount of $2,000 in fees and damage deposit for Oklahoma Limousine Breeders Association event scheduled for June 12th through 15th, 2014. Mr. Hubbard, are you here? Hey, George. Come on up.
This is my first time, so I'm a little nervous. Anyway, thanks. On the weekend of the 13th, 14th, and 15th of June, the Oklahoma Junior Limousine Association will be hosting their annual field day, which this is the 3rd year that we've had it in Miami. There'll be approximately 200 to 250 people. There'll be about 50 to 70 junior members that'll be here. They bring their livestock heifers in, and we have a show on that Saturday, but we do various other things as well. a speech contest, quiz bowl contest. We kind of use the field day as a warm up for our National Junior Heifer Show, which takes place about 3 weeks later. We come in, we use the fairgrounds, of course. We'll have about 80 sleeping nights that'll be here. Also, we rent the swimming pool one night for the kids to partake in and go there. Obviously, our people will be here. They'll be in our community. I think it's been a great advertising piece for the community and also the college. We'll have our banquet at the college, our annual banquet Saturday night at the college as well. But we just ask that those fees be waived. We feel like that it generates not only financially for the city of Miami, but also promotes the city. We'll have kids and families from all over the state of Oklahoma here in the community. So, is there any questions?
George, is this a nonprofit organization?
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
All right.
Yes.
Is there someone here that can speak to the makeup of the fees, what the 2,000, somebody from city staff?
Yeah.
Sorry, my iPad is
I got it,
dead,
Amanda.
so.
I got it.
Okay.
The other thing I'll say is that I don't know who can back this up, but I feel very. My family, Suzanne and I, are the host. Obviously, we live here in Miami. We have others that are locals that help us out, but when we leave the fairgrounds on Sunday, they are in as good a shape or better than what we come. We take care of the facilities, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't think there's any extra that the city has to do in terms of cleanup and putting things back after we leave. So,
And that's, I'm glad you brought that up, George, because of late, we've been concerned about cleaning deposits, making sure that the facility is, the city staff don't have to expend extra time and resources and taxpayer money cleaning up after an organization. We've certainly support this sort of endeavor and waiving of fees consistently, but there's been concern about damaged deposits and what sort of cleaning deposits and what sort of shape the facility's left in. So, Amanda, are you comfortable with the way the facility's been left in the last 2 or 3 times?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, we get a lot of runs out of this, and
Okay.
they leave the hotel it's not a group that's rough. It's good business for us.
Okay. Any other questions?
I heard good things about you this morning, so.
this morning?
This morning. Yeah.
Good. Good. Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, Mayor.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Johnson?
Aye.
McLean? Aye. Weston?
Aye.
Sharbit?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
And this is for all the fees to be waived completely?
2,000 in fees, which is, I think, what that adds up to,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Okay. And then, George, you're the next item. Again, approved contract with the Oklahoma Limousine Breeders Association for the field day. Now, what's the difference in the contract and the fees? Is it just, okay.
The
So-
resolution.
Okay, so basically, we're committing to the facility to them, is what the contract is, okay? And who will sign that?
You will.
Okay. So then to approve the mayor's signature on the contract.
Motion to approve.
And a second, please.
Second.
Roll call?
Sharbit?
Aye.
Weston?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
McLean?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye. Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Item 14, approve resolution to waive the 2,000 fees and damage deposit for NEO A&M College Judging Camp, June 9th through 11th, the preceding 3 days. Tyler Dewey.
Thank you. This request is pretty similar to George's. Typically, we have our camp on campus, but we're doing some renovations at the farm starting as soon as the students are gone. so we won't have access to our arena. So what we'll do is be at the fairgrounds probably half the day during the 9th, 10th, and 11th, and spend the balance of the time on campus. And part of the time we're actually going to be at Magnus judging cattle. But last year we brought in 80 students from as far away as Georgia, and then of course the local surrounding states. And this year, expecting those similar numbers. Have a big group coming in from Virginia. There will be some hotel nights. I hate to give you a solid number on that until we get all those numbers in, but.
Well, Tyler, we just, of course, expressed the same concern or issue as we mentioned to George, and that is making sure the facility is clean. Now, I'm thrilled to say I saw several YouTube videos of sports teams from NEO out in our community a couple of weekends ago cleaning up, and I'm sure that Dr. Hale will make sure that that facility is sparkling.
Guaranteed.
With that said, I will make a motion to approve the waiver of the fees. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Schultz,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Weston,
Aye.
Sharbit,
Aye.
McLean. Aye.
Okay, and then the item 15, approve the mayor's signature on the contract with NEO A&M for that same time frame.
Motion to approve.
And a second, please.
Second.
Roll call?
Sharbit,
Aye.
Weston,
Aye.
McLean. Aye. Johnson,
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
Item 16, approve resolution to waive all or partial, $600 in this case, rental fees for Joplin Sports Authority Premier Baseball Junior World Series on July 23rd through 27, 2014. Amanda.
Thank you. You guys have in your packet basically a facility agreement that we received from the Joplin Sports Authority. What this tournament is, and they've had it for about 6 years now, and they've used facilities all around us. They use NEO's facility, they use Commerce, Mickey Mantle Field, they use facilities in Joplin, Pittsburgh, Seneca, and Neosho. And what they've done this year is instead of 50 teams, they've upped it to 58 teams, so they need another facility. So they've reached out to us to use Joe Pollock, which is a city field. Normally, we would charge them $120 a day, which is where the $600 comes from. It'll be 5 days. What they're asking, and you can see it in their facility agreement, is they're asking us not to charge the $120, but in exchange for that, we will get half of the gate. So on average, NEO and Commerce normally receive a check from anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200 is what their average has been. They do give us the option to be able to have concession stand. I know when we had American Legion last year, we were able to get rid of some of our excess stuff that we had from the swimming pool, so that worked really well for the city. So there's that option for us. So basically, it's coming to you tonight. Obviously, CVB doesn't have the authority to not charge them $120 a day in exchange for that. So it's just asking you to consider them not paying the $600 in exchange for what they're willing to give us for the tournament. I know today I called around to the hotels. We have 345 room nights confirmed, and that's more than what was in your estimate that was in your packet. So that'll be city sales tax, and that'll be hotel tax that will come back in. I think 2 or 3 years ago they used Joe Pollock one day. They got into a bind and came over one day and played here. And at that same time, we had also the group that comes in is Premier Baseball out of Texas, and we had brought them in for a site visit about 3 years ago when they were looking to expand. So, and that was right after the RBI group had done all the improvements at the facility. So the timing was really good. So.
Okay, so you certainly recommend approval?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Me and Amanda talked about this yesterday, I believe it was. You expect this to be ongoing year after year?
I think so. I think these are, this group of particular players are all juniors. And I mean, we'll have, I went over to Commerce last year while it was here. There were probably 20, 25 different scouts just in watching boys play baseball. So even in addition to the increase or the impact from just the families you're going to have, it could open the door for us if we have some scouts or some people that's involved in other organizations, that it kind of puts us on the map with baseball a little bit better than what we are now.
Any other questions for Amanda?
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
We have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
And a second, please.
Second.
Roll call?
McLean.
Aye.
Weston.
Aye.
Sharbit,
Aye.
Johnson,
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye. And item 17, approve the mayor's signature on the contract.
Motion to approve, Mayor.
And a second.
Second.
Roll call?
Johnson,
Aye.
McLean,
Aye.
Sharbit,
Aye.
Weston,
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye. Item number 18, approve amended resolution 551 and the 457 deferred compensation plan 304840 with the International City County Management Association to permit the loaning of funds and designate the mayor as the plan coordinator. I think most 401k plans have provisions for loans. I'm kind of surprised that this plan does not. I think it's fairly standard these days, but anyway, that's what's before us is just amending the plan to permit the loaning of funds and then designating the mayor as plan coordinator. Any questions? Okay. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve, Mayor.
And a second?
Second.
And roll call.
Johnson,
Aye.
McLean,
Aye.
Weston,
Aye.
Sharbit,
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye. Item 19, approved template memorandum of understanding to be distributed to Ottawa County communities who may wish to participate in something.
Okay.
David?
Mayor, members of the council, I'm going to ask you not to take action on this tonight. I have prepared a document based on two different forms made available by State of Oklahoma Office of Emergency Management, but it can be pretty touchy to figure out how agencies or how you'd want to commit resources, and so I'd like to have at least until the next meeting. You're welcome to have a copy of what's prepared, but to review it a little bit more with the fire chief and police chief.
Okay. Any comments, Mr. Bishop?
No, sir, but this is, it would help us to help other communities that are in need after a natural disaster or some type of an event that requires assistance.
And the document, when you see, I like to use whereas clauses, and the reason I like them is that they're instructive and they help explain the law and the background for such things. And again, please feel free to take a copy of the draft.
So you just prefer no action tonight?
I do.
Okay. All right. Item number 20, update on HVAC system for Civic Center banquet room. Mr. Bishop.
Yes, sir. The one of the pumps on the HVAC system that handles the cooling for the banquet room has failed. I believe this is the second time it's failed since I've been here. There is, we are told by technicians that there was a, the city was given advice several years ago that the pump was twice what it was needed to be, so they cut it in half, and it's turned out that that was a bad decision. The estimate that I was presented with was $6,000 to fix it. But as you know, we have a considerable amount of money in the capital improvement fund that we're going to be looking at for renovations to the building. One of those being a reworking of the heating and cooling system here in an attempt to get rid of the boiler. So I didn't feel it was prudent to spend the $6,000 to replace that particular piece of equipment when we may very well be scrapping the whole thing in a few months. So accordingly, I wanted to apprise you of the decision that I made not to fix the device, and to let you know that we're not going to provide the banquet facilities for rental for the summer while the HVAC system is out. So we will be providing notice to the public, but we wanted to provide you with a notice and then to notify the viewing public of the unavailability of the banquet facilities for most of the summer. That does not impact walkers. It just means they probably will be walking in a warmer room than they are used to.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Thank you, Jeff. Item number 21, acquisition options for the Burlington Northern Santa Fe rail line.
Yes, sir. Some time back, I sent you an email with an attachment recommendation from our counsel who represents us for railroad issues. Sandra Brown is her name. She's with the firm of Thompson and Hines. And we have been engaged in a dialogue with the Burlington Northern Santa Fe for the acquisition of the spur, from what I'm told is forever. It has recently come to the point where we are ready to move forward with technically what would be known as a transaction, even though the railroad would be donating it to us. Sandra has recommended that we use a procedure before the Surface Transportation Board known as the State of Maine transaction. And what the State of Maine transaction does is it allows us as a public agency to take ownership of the rail line without ever assuming what is known as the common carrier obligation. We want to avoid the common carrier obligation because if we assume the common carrier obligation, which means basically we have a legal duty to provide service to customers, is it also triggers responsibilities under the Federal Railroad Administration, and namely the Federal Railroad Retirement System. We do not want to convert our retirement system to the Federal Railroad Retirement System. It's a very nice retirement system, but it's a very expensive retirement system. So accordingly, we don't ever want to take possession, if you will, of that common carrier obligation. What the state of Maine process allows us to do is to acquire a fee interest in the line, but simultaneously allow Burlington Northern Santa Fe to retain the common carrier obligation until it's transferred into a contract operator. The contract operator that we're considering is a company called Motive Rail. They're based out of Missouri. It's the same company that has been before the council before. I think only Mayor Schultz would have been on the council at that time, but it's the company that Maids has worked with on the spur line. The reason why we're interested in acquiring the line is that we have two large employers in the community. They're both on the line, and they have an interest in receiving plastic for their operations by rail car. Currently, those are being transloaded, and that adds a cost to them to have it taken off of a rail car, put into a truck, and trucked halfway across town when there's a spur that goes by it. Now, we don't have the financial resources to put the line into working shape. All the parties that are involved realize that the city will have to pursue a grant. I've received grants like that before. We will look at three different possibilities. We'll look at this Community Development Block Grant Program. We will look at the Economic Development Administration, and we'll probably attempt to our hand at a Tiger Grant with the United States Department of Transportation. All of those things we will bring back to you at a later date. All I need tonight is for your authorization for me to ask Ms. Brown to put together the paperwork for the submittal to the Surface Transportation Board in conjunction with the legal counsel from the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad.
This has been a long conversation, and I'm glad that we've gotten to this point. I know that Maids and Jeff and prior to Jeff, the city's been working on this for 5, 6, 7 years and trying to get Burlington Northern to agree to donate, gift, whatever term you want to use this line. And so certainly an economic development opportunity for us and a way for us to help the businesses that are out there. So I think it's a good idea. Any questions or comments or for Jeff?
What kind of motion do you need, Jeff? Just a motion to?
Motion to authorize the city manager to direct special counsel to prepare the paperwork necessary for submitting a state of Maine transfer to the Surface Transportation Board in consultation with the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad.
So moved.
What he said.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay. Johnson?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
Weston?
Aye.
Charbit?
Aye.
McLean?
Aye.
And yes, unless you'd like to repeat that.
Item number 22, other new business, if any. Any new business?
No new business, Your Honor.
Item 23, staff reports. Written reports are included in your packet if available, and staff is present for questions. Any question for staff?
How'd the rodeo go?
It's over. It was good.
It looked like it was busy Saturday night.
It was, somebody said Saturday, I went there about 8:30 that morning, and I think there was a horse trailer at about every gas station in town, and somebody said it was, the businesses were that way all day long. It was.
Well, I heard 4,000. Was there 4,000 Saturday night?
At least.
Great.
Yeah. It's biggest one in a long time,
Long
right?
time.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great job, everyone.
Okay, Mayor and Council community announcements. I have one announcement. The American Legion and their new facility out on Denver-Harnar Drive is going to be dedicating their new monument. And that, if you would help me, it's Saturday at 11 o'clock.
Saturday the 17th. The ceremony starts at 11 o'clock. The ceremony itself will take 45 to 50 minutes, and we'll have some food available afterwards, barbecue. So we're encouraging the public and area veterans in particular to attend. This is a very unique ceremony. You may not ever see it happen again in this area. We're going to dedicate this beautiful 4x8 monument to America drive by the facility on Denver Harbor, take a look at it. But the monument was donated by the family of Vernon Allen of Commerce, who used to be an American Legion member. And after he passed, he just sat in a garage for several years, and then one of his children mentioned it to one of our post members, and we said, sure, we'll take it. And this thing is huge. And it talks about America, and it deals more with the immigration of America and how America was built that way. But we're also going to dedicate the facility.
So-
There's going to be volleys of fire. We'll do two colors. Senator Glenn is going to speak. Wayne Thompson from Congressman Mullins' office will speak that day. And we're really hoping that Mayor Schultz will speak to us that day.
And I may.
I know. We'd very much like to have you there. But we're getting a lot of help that day from the Boy Scouts and the Ladies Auxiliary. Also, it's Armed Forces Day. So we will be putting out over 350 flags early that morning all around the Miami area.
It's really going to be a neat event. And again, it's May 17th at 11 a.m. at the new American Legion facility on Denver Harnard Drive. And if you don't know where that is, it's just off of 22nd Street or Veterans Boulevard. So I would encourage everyone to attend. Any other announcements?
I got one, Mayor. A couple of Saturdays ago, our group of trash picker-uppers, for lack of a better term, Doug was there. We had quite a few volunteers, and I just want to thank the NEO wrestling team. The whole team was out there, and they came down and they went to the park and picked trash up and done a good job. I just want to say thank you to them.
I know I saw some of the football team out there too. The Colors certainly supported that effort, and we appreciate them and the support they show to the community. Any other announcements? Okay, we have an executive session is the next to the last item on the agenda. We're going to take a brief break, 5-minute break, and then we're going to come back and go into executive session.
I move to go into executive session pursuant to 25 Section 307B2 to discuss negotiations concerning employees and representatives of the employee groups, to wit, International Association of Firefighters, the IAFF, and the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOP, and pursuant to 25 Section 307B4 for confidential communication with the city attorney concerning a pending investigation of claim.
And a second.
Second.
Roll call.
Johnson?
Aye.
McLean? Aye. Sharbit?
Aye.
Weston?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.
You gonna go pass?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's why I'm breaking it up.
I know. That's why
We
I
know
asked.
you wasn't on purpose.
Yeah, that's possible.
That's why
You're on.
Okay, we are back from executive session. We are on item number 26, disposition of claims, and that was Frizzell, Slayton, and Carney. Is there any action on item 26 on any of the three claims? There being none, item 27, future agenda planning. Any issues that we need to make sure we get on future agendas? There being none, item 28 is motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
And a second?
Second.
Roll call.
McLean? Aye. Weston?
Aye.
Sharbit?
Aye.
Johnson?
Aye.
Schultz?
Aye.